hungry friends! Today we're making Polish apple pancakes, RACUCHY. Welcome back friends, this is Polish Kitchen and my name is Anna, and here I will teach you how to make delicious Polish food. And if you're new here, please subscribe, that'll be your payment for watching, and cook some Polish food with us. We are cooking kids' favorite today, RACUCHY, which are pancakes with apple. They're yeast pancakes with apple. So let's get to it. And if you're new here, check out the merch store at polishkitchen.com. Wonderful aprons and cups and kids onesies and other fun stuff. So let's get to our recipe. As mentioned, this is a yeast pancake and it's delicious and fluffy and perfect for Sunday brunch. So to start our recipe, I'm gonna mix, I have warm milk and some yeast, and just read your yeast instructions and use enough for 3 cups. I'm using yeast that I bought here in Poland, obviously, and then I'm using 2 tablespoons, but just make sure you have enough in your package. So this is 2 tablespoons, and this is just gonna dissolve here real quick. Give this a quick stir. And we'll just let this sit here for a couple minutes while we're mixing the rest of the ingredients. And I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and that's about 450 grams. And to it, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I'm just using raw sugar. That's why mine is brown, but you can just use regular sugar. And a pinch of salt, which is behind me here. And that's it.
Well, good. Thanks for coming.
Goodbye. No, we just gotta wait a couple minutes. Just give this
Yeast time to bloom?
No, it doesn't have to bloom actually. It just has to dissolve. So I'm just gonna give this a stir.
Did you hear that I said a word that I know that's cookie?
Yeah,
Cookie stuff?
it's blooming. Yes. And it doesn't have to bloom because once we add the warm milk to our flour mixture here, this is gonna set this. We're gonna set this aside for a few minutes, and it's gonna give the yeast time to work, do its magic, and provide the fluffiness that it does. So that's probably pretty good. Just mixed in there. So I'm adding this. Did I say I have 1.25 cups of warm milk?
I don't remember, but you did now.
Yes, I did now. So I'm gonna add this in here. And also, a little bit of yeast on the bottom here. And I have 2 whole eggs. So that goes in, and I'm just gonna use my hand mixer to combine these. So we're mixing this just for about a minute, probably a minute and a half maybe, just until combined and there's no lumps anymore. And I'm just gonna scrape the sides a little bit of my bowl.
So that's a little different than a lot of pancake batters where a lot of chefs say you want lumps in pancakes, but this one is a smooth one, huh?
Right, because flour lumps in pancakes then provide the fluffiness when you're cooking it. But in this one, we're using yeast, and the yeast is going to give us all the air. So for right now, I'm just going to cover this and just set it aside here. And we're going to give this 30 minutes. So we'll come back in about 20 minutes and get our apples ready.
Can we watch Saturday morning cartoons while we wait for it to rise?
Yes.
Yes.
So about 20 minutes have gone by. And we have about 10 more minutes. We want to let the dough batter time to rest a little bit and bubble. But we can prepare our apples. So I have 2.
What kind?
I normally look for hard apples and hard and sour. I like sour, especially in the sweet batter, just to kind of counteract the sweetness. And I'm slicing these into quarters, and then I'm going to use a mandolin to cut them, to kind of make sure they're evenly sliced, nice thin slices. So this is a good time to get your kids in the kitchen, peel the apples for them, give them a nice dull butter knife, and have them slice the apples into slices. It'll take them a while. Keep them busy. They'll like the pancakes more if they make them.
So did you guys make these a lot when you were kids or growing up? Or
I didn't make them a lot, but my grandma did.
Which one, Stasha?
Babcia Stasia, yeah, my mom, on my mom's side. She spent a lot of time in our home because both of my parents were working. So she would cook a lot for us, and I was always thinking about it and memorizing in my head. Just so I can show you now.
Well, thank you. What do you put on top of these things? Some good old Canadian maple syrup or maple syrup, or
no, these aren't served with anything weird like goulash or anything. These are just sweet apple pancakes with just topped with some powdered sugar. They don't need anything to make them better. They're already pretty perfect.
You know I'm putting syrup on.
Are you?
That's what I do.
Okay, I'm using a mandolin because I want these to be super thin, so they cook a little bit in the batter. Ding dong, I'm making all kinds of noises. I'll move this out of the way.
Could you shred instead of slice?
I don't think so. I think it'll be too wet. Yep, that's a nice thin slice. I show you. Like this. And they're nice and tart.
Sun's out.
Sun's out, guns out. And just be really careful so you don't take your fingers off. Alright, that's probably good, huh?
Yeah.
So we have these sliced. I'm just gonna set, I made a mess here. Let's set these aside for snacks. And we're I'm gonna start heating my pan. And set this aside. And I'm using lard for frying today. You can use any oil that is your favorite for... Oh, let's not burn the thing here.
No, that'd be bad.
That started smoking.
It did already?
Yeah.
Nice. What type of lard are you using?
Use your favorite fat. I'm using pig lard just because it gives such a nice flavor to pancakes. And if you've watched my Pancakes video, the Polish donut video, you will see that I'm a fan of lard for frying sweet things like this. It's just another way to add a little bit more flavor to our food. So here's our batter. It got nice and bubbly and ready for frying. So I'm gonna add all of this into here, and I'm going to give this a gentle stir. Wow, sun's out.
I know.
We haven't seen sun
I'm just enjoying it, seeing
in
it
a
on
while.
your face right now.
And just stir this gently to kind of get those apples in there. Seems like it's a lot, but they are apple pancakes. And I can smell the yeast in them. And this is kind of what makes them different from your regular flapjacks, if you will. They have this kind of yeasty tang to them, and I don't know if you can distinct the yeast flavor in pancakes. I don't know about you, but I definitely can.
I think I'd be able to. You put them side by side?
Side by each?
Side by each, one by one.
I don't want this super hot, so I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. Because they're getting pretty thick, so I don't want them burning right as soon as they get there. I want to give them a couple of minutes to cook on the inside. I think I'm going to I like using a ice cream scoop for these, so then they measure out evenly. So my ice cream scoop is, I think, a little bit less than half a cup. And what you're gonna do, just kind of get some in your scooper and put them in. I'm gonna flatten them down a little bit. And you can smell the deliciousness right away, can't ya?
Yes, ma'am.
So as you can see now, my pancakes are starting to make bubbles. So that's a good time. Can you see the bubbles? Like on and the edges are kind of dry. I think it's a good time to flip. And if your pan, I'm just gonna give these a squeeze a little bit so the dough kind of spreads, the batter spreads a little bit and cooks all evenly. If you had this on any higher, it could burn the outside of the pancake, which we don't want. So,
and if that happens, it's okay. Just do it again.
Give them some time and let the moisture kind of cook out. Let's give these a little push down. So yeah, if you wanted to make a Polish breakfast at home, I would suggest to make these and some hot dogs and some ham slices and cheese slices, some boiled eggs with mayo or deviled eggs. I have a recipe for deviled eggs on my page too. And sliced tomatoes and cucumbers and radishes. And what else do we like eating for breakfast? Twarożek, farmer's cheese with maybe with some dill or with green onions.
And if you want a visual, they can go on to our video on fine dining in Poland where we went to a palace.
There you go.
And in the morning we went down for breakfast at the hotel and we had a massive spread.
Yep, that's a good representation of Polish breakfast.
What about jams? Do people put jams on top of this? Could you?
Yeah, you could do jam. Yeah, like a plum jam or even apple jam.
Apple butter.
Apple butter.
Oh.
I'm a fan of powdered sugar on these. I think they have so much flavor in them, and you can definitely taste the kind of tanginess of the yeast, which I just love in my sweet buns. Here we go again. But that kind of yeasty flavor comes through in these, and I just love that with powdered sugar. I don't need anything else with mine other than hot dogs, maybe. Should we check these?
Absolutely.
Oh, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
A little pale on the bottom yet. Patience is key here.
Patience is a virtue.
This looks good, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Should we give it a try?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're cooked. I'll turn this off. I'll put this on my pretty floury plate.
And now for some accoutrement.
Don't they look gorgeous?
They look beautiful.
And look.
Oh, it's snowing on them.
They don't look greasy, do they?
Not at all.
They look dry, kind of dry and...
Well, look at your pan. It's not soaked in grease.
Yeah, I mean, they're not deep fried or anything. They're just They're just cooked in grease. Ooh. Escapees. There's a little apples look cooked in there.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Let's give it a taste. Mm-hmm. 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 I'll give it a try. They're doughier than your. They're a little bit more doughy than your flapjacks because of the moisture on the inside. They're a little bit more.
There's a little more tooth to it.
Yeah, kind of cakey and moist. But it's because of the apples on the inside. But they're delicious. I mean, how can you go wrong with pancakes? I hope you try these. Cook them for your kid. And I can definitely taste the fact that they were cooked in lard and not in vegetable oil. Can you?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you try these at home and cook them and let us know how they turned out. And come see us again on Friday when we close our kitchen and we go show you a culinary scene in Poland. And please subscribe to let us know you like our videos. And we'll see you next time. Smacznego!